In this video, I'm going to show you how to create hundreds of user-generated content type of videos in just a few clicks. For that, we'll be using N8 and Airtable and Agent. So if you don't know what user-generated videos are, this is this type of video.
Guy used artificial intelligence to turn 467 leads into 196 sales appointments and 49 sales.
So this looks very realistic. This allows me to cut my cost per lead by almost 40%, just because I'm able to test multiple different angles. So here on a very small campaign, see my cost per lead is 2.79 euros. So that's approximately $3. So I'm really happy with that. Now I'm going to show you the process. So you'll need to have Airtable database, and within the database, you need to have at least the name, so the post title column, the post content. And then here, if you want to complicate things a little, you can use different brands and different IDs and different templates. But for the sake of this video, we'll just keep it simple. So you need to have another column, which is going to collect the agent ID. And then you'll need another one, which is going to collect the ready media URL and then the attachment. So that's basically it. Let's not forget the screen capture. So this is basically the screenshot that goes at the background. So the first step, what you need to do is to declare endpoints to actually get the video when it's ready. There are a couple of ways to do that, but I will show you what I think it is the easiest, especially if you're inside N8N. So here we have a manage endpoint. So I will just show you, this is not even a workflow. This is just something to manage API calls. So here we have a post request. So basically that adds an endpoint to agent. And so this is the value. So the value is a different workflow. So here you'll need to create a new workflow. So just create it from scratch. And then add a webhook. And that's going to be a GET request. Just make sure that you select that. And then head back over inside this endpoint management workflow. And then just paste it here and test. And so that you will see that after that, you will be getting a response that your endpoint has been declared. There are a couple of ways to do that. Instead, to use an N8N workflow to receive the video, we could quite easily use Airtable webhook too. So if I create an automation, and I will show you the process so that you understand how it works, we are going to select a webhook when a webhook is received. So basically, if you don't want the N8N workflow to receive the video when it's ready, you can do it this way using this one. So you copy that one, and then you're going back to inside N8N, and you'll just replace this URL value, and this is going to declare the endpoint that's going to receive the video. And then here as the next step, you need to create a condition to update the record. So that's the first step. Really easy, really straightforward. If you don't know what the endpoints are and how to manage them, you can quite easily get the reference here using the agent documentation. It's well documented. There is no issue about that. Next, we are actually going to create a workflow inside N8N so that we can create the video. Let me just show you the process. So inside Airtable, we have the different actions. So this one runs transformation. So basically when this is checked, it triggers a workflow. So this is a very simple one. So when the condition matches, it runs the script. I'll just show you what the script looks like. So basically it uses the record ID and the webhook URL. So the webhook URL is the webhook from the node, from the actual workflow that will run the transformation. So here I'm going to go back to Airtable data. And then here inside the automations table, that here I have the webhook URL. So that's the one that's been called when I click the button. And here I have my workflow URL. So I'm just going to open it so that you can see exactly how it works. So when the webhook is being called, it checks that the posts are within the draft content post table. Here I can use a formula, but for the sake of simplicity, I just use a filter. So here I just need to make sure that the actual record doesn't contain in progress or isn't done. So it means that I'm only processing data that requires to be processed and nothing else. So as I've mentioned, I could use a filter for that. Here I have a loop over item. Then here I split by transformation. And we are just going to focus on this one, which is going to be the agent UGC template. And here you'll see that this is going down this branch. And so basically that modifies the text so that it can easily be spoken by an AI. Here we have different nodes, so that's a little bit more complex, but if you have different brands and if you have different templates, this is basically a random picker. These 4 nodes are just selecting a brand, a template within a brand randomly so that they all don't look the same. So you can just delete that. And now we are going to focus on the API request. So the API call, basically, is very simple. We use the template ID, and I will show you how to build a template in a second. And here we are passing over just a couple of elements, which is the URL. So that's basically the background screenshot. Here we are passing the content. So this is the text. The text is actually made JSON safe using a code like this one, or an expression. If you are within the community, you can just download it and deploy it. 3 dots here, import from file, and then you can deploy this workflow very easily. If you're not within the community, just go slowly so that you can actually copy and paste, or you can pause the video and write it yourself. Yeah, I'll do it again. So that basically removes extra spaces, it removes emojis if there is, so that we don't run into issues when we run the code. So next, inside agent, there are a couple of things that we need to do. So first of all, inside template, and I will edit the template so that you can see. Here we have this background. So the background here is set. So this is something that we could quite easily automate, doing screenshots of people's website or products pages. But here this is basically the same one each time. And so the variable is API, is screen. And then here for the script, the variable is script.en. So basically that corresponds precisely to what we have inside the HTTP core. So the background runs in loop, and so that if the text exceeds the size of exceeds the length of the actual background video, the background video just starts again until the text stops. So that's basically it. It's a pretty straightforward process, especially if you don't want to pick different brands and pick different templates randomly. So just really simple. There is an endpoint that's waiting for the video to be ready, which is declared before we actually run the first call. And then here we have a simple webhook that receives the record ID. Then we search the Airtable database so that we can actually get the post content. We transform the post content into something that can easily be speakable by an AI engine, and then just pass the HTTP request. So let me just show you an execution. I'll actually do it with you so that you can see the process. So here, I just delete that. If I run it, this is going to produce all those videos. I'm gonna go for run transformation. And then here I'm gonna go inside the transformations table and execution. You can see that this is running. And then if I check inside agent, project, there you go. You can see that all of the videos are processing. So now we are going to get those videos back inside the Airtable database. Something that I forgot to mention that you really need to pay attention to is that when you're actually running the API core, you need to update the Airtable database to make sure that this is set to creation status in progress so that it doesn't proceed the same data again. And then when the data is actually processed, so I'll just show you inside the workflow that receives the data. We search the record. So the record is being matched by the agent ID. So that's really important. It cannot be matched on the record ID. Otherwise, you will have videos and text which are different. It will create a new row each time. And here we, as I've mentioned, we make sure that this is matching on agent ID. We pass the ready media URL. Then we also pass the attachment. And here, as you can see, this is a little bit different than the previous one. The formatting is basically url.webhook.items.json body event and data URL. So really straightforward, really simple. I hope this video was helpful, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye-bye.